The phenomenology uses two main frameworks that are kind of juxtaposed and repeat throughout it. One is cognitive. So the phenomenology begins with a state where we're certain, there's certainty. He calls it sense certainty. There's no doubting. So you could imagine being an earthworm, perhaps, where a sensation isn't giving you a sense of an object. It's just a sensation. Okay. It's just a world of sensations. And certainty, if you try to articulate it, contradicts the articulation. I know it's a hard idea, but you know Descartes is famous for saying, "I think, therefore I am," and it really, maybe a better translation of what he was saying is, "I cannot doubt doubting. If I try to doubt doubting, I'm contradicting myself, right?" Okay. I can't doubt doubting, and that has something to do with what we mean a lot of times with the word I. I can't doubt the I am. And Hegel has this idea of certainty developed in a whole mode of thinking, Things we take for granted, things that we most deeply do not question, are what we would articulate if someone was trying to say, "What are you most certain of? What are you most certain of?" And he shows how efforts to articulate that certainty, which at the end of the day is just, it's self-certainty, but this isn't clear. He traces a dialectical process until the point where the basis of truth is found to be self-certainty. When something is true, we know it's true because it reflects back to us what we are. There's an insight in that. This is where identity politics are related to this. We know something's not true when it doesn't reflect back to us what we are. We don't recognize ourselves in it. So we know it's not. We know there's something wrong with it, or wrong with us. We can believe that too. So that's a way to talk about a standard for ideology critique. How do we know that ideologies are false? Well, there's material here that helps to refine and give some kind of a meticulous explanation of that, if we want to do that. We know it because we don't experience ourselves in the culture around us. We don't experience ourselves when we act the way we've been taught to act, when we follow norms, when we use the ideas available in our culture to express ourselves. What comes back isn't reflecting that certainty back to us. Okay, so that's on a kind of cognitive level, but for Hegel, cognition is the same as desiring, it's the same as fearing, it's the same as feeling. It's not, he doesn't work with an idea of thought being distinct from our emotions and everything else. The other mode has to do, instead of a progression towards what is true, we have a progression towards actualizing our being in the forms of life within which we live. So there Hegel's interested in social structures, social relationships, that how we, from within intersubjectivity, we're constantly claiming and co-constructing selves in relationships. And we're drawing on cultural material to do that. And there again, some of those cultures they're oppressive. And so we can be co-constructing something we don't feel to be ourselves. We don't get the self-affirmation we're after. And that's the standard by which we know something's wrong with a culture. All of this was a series of arguments that started with object perception and worked towards its limitations. And then when we get through Hegel, it bursts subject-object, and we have to go to subject-subject. And then within subject-subject, we develop our critical epistemology and ontology. But not today. So any comments, questions?